This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
She was 18 years old, beautiful, talented, on the edge of a Hollywood breakthrough. And she was terrified.
Terrified that someone was trying to kill her. Terrified that she had seen something she wasn't supposed to see. Terrified enough to stop eating, to stop drinking, to beg not to be left alone.
And then, on a hot July morning in 1983, she vanished from a Florida parking lot.
No body, no crime scene, no confirmed suspect.
Only a question that is echoed for more than 40 years. Was Tammy Lynn Leppert paranoid? Or was she right?
Welcome back to another episode of Justice Pending. I'm Susan.
And I'm Claire. And today we are talking about the unsolved case of Tammy Lynn Leppert.
That's right, Claire. This one is bone-chilling.
Yes.
So Tammy Lynn Leppert, this is like a Florida childhood built for the spotlight. She was born on February 5th, 1965 in Rockledge, Florida. She had blonde hair, hazel eyes, and a true confidence that made people stop and stare.
Yeah, so she started modeling at age 4. Beauty pageants became her world, and she dominated them. By her teens, she had won more than 280 crowns.
I feel like this is exactly right for the time, isn't it? This is and this is also the dawn of the Tiger Mom. Her mother, Linda Curtis, was her agent, her driver, her protector. You know, Tammy worked constantly and thrived under the pressure. But by 1978, she had even appeared on the cover of CoverGirl. And so Hollywood started taking notice of her.
Yeah, so like many people, she went from modeling and beauty pageants to acting. So some small roles followed. She was in Little Darlings in 1980, Spring Break in 1983. Tammy was gaining momentum, but then something changed.
Yes. After filming Spring Break, Tammy attended a cast party alone. Now, remember, she is confident, secure in herself, used to being in the spotlight, not shy. But when she came home from that, friends said that she really wasn't the same. She was withdrawn, guarded, and really afraid. She sounded paranoid.
Yeah, and she wouldn't say what had happened, only that she had seen something awful, something she was not supposed to see. She started saying that she believed someone was trying to kill her.
Yeah, and her mother went on record as remembering one moment quite clearly. She said, "Mom, what would you say if I told you somebody was trying to kill me?" I mean, what kind of question?
Oh my gosh. No, it's terrible.
Terrible.
And it's important to note that according to her family and friends, Tammy wasn't known for exaggeration. She wasn't the kind of person who was making outlandish statements and trying to get attention. She seemed genuinely afraid.
Yeah, it sounded like she didn't need to seek attention because she was really surrounded by it all the time. So it does make sense. You know, this is there was sort of a breaking point at one point. In 1983, Tammy landed what should have been her big break. She actually had a small role in the movie Scarface. She filmed the infamous chainsaw scene and played the woman who distracts the lookout car. So if anyone remembers the movie, that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, and it was just 4 days into filming when Tammy allegedly just broke down on set. There was this shooting scene that sent her into hysterics. She couldn't stop crying. She had to be removed from the set, from filming, and actually sent home.
And from that point on, her paranoia only intensified. At that point, she refused food and water because she was so terrified that she would be poisoned. She slept very little. She trusted no one. And then there was violence.
Yeah, so this definitely sounds like a person on a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, this is not just the verge of a mental breakdown. This is full-blown mid-roll, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
So it's July 1st, 1983, and Tammy smashes the windows of her home with a baseball bat. And she also allegedly attacked a close friend who came by. It's not looking good.
No, this seems like a mental breakdown. And so her mother did what any mother would do. She took her daughter to doctors, and Tammy was hospitalized for 3 days. This sounds like a classic 5150 hold.
Yep.
But there were no drugs, no alcohol, no visible medical cause for her paranoia.
Yeah, and so she was released. She was still terrified. She was still saying that someone wanted to kill her and that she'd seen something she wasn't supposed to see.
I know. And did she never defined it though for anyone, right? I mean,
Right.
that's where it's so tough because, you want to believe someone, but then you want you want the facts to back it up. So let's talk about her last day, which her final day, Claire, as you would say, July 6th, 1983. So it's the morning that Tammy disappeared. That morning, her mother noticed something very strange, that she hadn't brushed her hair. Tammy hadn't brushed her hair. And for a beauty queen, for Tammy, that was just part of her routine. So that might not sound like a very monumental detail, but it actually was.
I can tell you, no one in my family would think twice if I walked out of the front door without brushing my hair.
Same.
But
I don't remember the last time I brushed my hair.
But for Tammy, it stood out. She didn't leave the house looking anything but completely polished and ready to go. So, and she was also leaving with a male friend.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last person confirmed to see her alive. Some sources give him the name Keith. It's something that police went and looked at the time, but it hasn't gone anywhere in all this time. He was just someone allegedly who was just giving her a ride, was a friend, and it's interesting. Like, there are reports that they might have argued in the car. I mean, I think we know that Tammy was in a bad place at this point. So she was attacking her friend. She was, hitting her own windows with a baseball bat. Mm-hmm. The idea that she might have gotten into an argument with someone giving her a ride kind of makes sense at this point. So he dropped her off near a bank building, the Old Glass Bank building in Cocoa Beach, which is like 5 miles from her house. And he said that she asked to be left there, that she wanted to be let out of the car.
Yeah. And he's not lying. He did drop her there because surveillance, did capture Tammy standing there exactly where he said he dropped her, alone in the parking lot. And it shows her walking to a public phone. She tried calling her aunt and then a friend. And again, she's making phone calls. She's leaving urgent messages, and then we don't see her again.
Yeah, so Tammy was last seen wearing a blue denim skirt, a blue shirt with flower appliques, sandals, and she was carrying a gray purse. Some reports say that she was barefoot. But this is how she is last seen, alone in this parking lot, trying to use this phone. It doesn't work out. And she just vanishes out of sight.
Right. Her purse was never found. There had been no confirmed sightings of her after this. But at the same time, her body didn't surface.
Right.
And then there were the phone calls.
Yeah, so this is really, really bizarre. After Tammy vanished, Cocoa Beach detective Harold Lewis received 2 calls from a woman claiming that Tammy was still alive. So in one call, this unnamed woman said Tammy would contact her family, quote, when the time was right. In another, she said that Tammy was doing what she'd always wanted to do, going to school to become a nurse.
Of all the things.
Right.
Doesn't seem like Scarface is the right trajectory, but okay. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, we all have like those alternate career dreams, I guess. So maybe at one point she had thought about being a nurse, and but it's so strange to think that they would make this person would make these phone calls. Like, this is, the 1980s. Like, was this Tammy calling and saying, my friend Tammy? I've always wondered that myself. Like, not like they had voice recognition software, right? I mean, I wonder.
Yeah. I mean, but of course, since it's the 80s, police could not, verify the calls. So it's, we have no idea if they were hoaxes or something else entirely. I mean, we just won't know.
Yeah, we really won't. And it seems like this is also kind of a prank era.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so weird.
You're right.
So strange.
Beauty queens and pranks. That's what the 80s certainly were. Yes.
Why would we do this? Why would we call the police
we
and pretend to have information about a missing person? But
it
seems like it might have been, it could have all been some sick prank to call the police. Obviously, her disappearance is not a sick prank. It's very real. And so Tammy's mother would later say that she believed that Tammy was afraid of the male friend who dropped her off that day, but police never named him as a suspect. Again, you can see him dropping her off on surveillance video. She's alone in the parking lot. So whether or not they had some type of disagreement or history, it's really irrelevant whenever you see that she's alone when she disappears, right?
Totally. Also, I mean, of course, you look at the last, you do your concentric circles of last, person she was with, that kind of thing. But for someone so paranoid, for a paranoid person to get in a car with somebody means, to me at the time, they weren't that scared,
right.
I don't know. To me, that doesn't add up. I understand a mother wanting to point fingers.
Sure.
At somebody for answers or investigators to take a second look, which never hurts. But investigators actually were looking at 2 serial predators who were active in Florida at that time. So let's talk about those 2 suspects for a moment.
Yes.
There was Christopher Wilder, and he was dubbed the Beauty Queen Killer. And he lured women with fake modeling opportunities. Oh, this is just awful. Yeah. He abducted 12 women, killed 8 of them before his death in 1984. And Tammy, I would think, fits his victim profile perfectly, except she was sort of beyond that. I mean, she wasn't trying to make it as a model anymore. She had made it. She was trying to make it in Hollywood. And so to me, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's definitely not as strong as a suspect of the next person we're going to talk about. Yeah. So John Brennan Crutchley, this is the so-called vampire rapist. He was convicted of kidnapping and rape in Florida in 1985. This is a really bizarre case. It is so disturbing, but he had attacked this woman and then raped her and actually drained her blood. Wow. Like, he had like a syringe and he had tubing and he was like draining her blood. She ends up surviving, escaping, and I know, it's insane. So that's why he's called the vampire rapist, but he gets caught, and he's a suspect in 30 different murder cases, Susan, but he's never convicted of any of them. He's never definitively tied to any of them. He died while serving that sentence for kidnapping and rape, but authorities believe that he was very capable of committing this crime.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to link them, right? Like, and neither of these were ever officially linked.
So, I mean, you don't have a body. You don't have the body of Tammy Lynn Leppert to know who killed her, like to have any evidence that could link. We actually don't even know that she's dead. I mean, one would think with all this time, if she were alive, she would have come forward by now. But it's just one of those really, gosh, you talk about cold cases, you talk about open-ended investigations. This case certainly fits that.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to go back to the victim or the alleged victim here, the missing person, and kind of look at what they were saying leading up to their disappearance. And Tammy's mother, does believe, based on everything, all of her daughter's fears, paranoia, ramblings, breakdowns, that her daughter had stumbled into something dangerous. And she thought it was possibly drug trafficking or money laundering in Florida, which, I mean, makes all the sense in the world.
It really does.
It's the 80s. There's literally drug running planes back and forth at the time. I mean, there's so many documentaries about this. But Tammy had actually mentioned, quote, money laundering during a breakdown. And really, at the time, dozens of federal cases were under investigation involving, very prominent people, even police officers. So it is something that's plausible, especially if she mentioned it. I'm not, that could be very scary. I don't think money laundering in and of itself, if you witness it, is necessarily terrifying, but I think things around it, like guns and murder and, the sort of peripheral crimes that go along with drugs and all that.
Yeah, no one's doing money laundering like in a silo, right? There's some type of other activity going on that necessitates it. So the idea that she saw like potentially large drug trafficking or human trafficking or whatever it might be, it would actually make sense in this twisted world of her disappearance, where we're looking for unusual activity, because it certainly wasn't normal what happened to her, no matter what, like, the truth is. Like, something very twisted was going on.
It also makes sense why her breakdown would have happened during the filming of Scarface.
Yes. I can see how that could be a major trigger. Yeah.
So, I mean,
some friends believe Tammy left on her own. She had talked about moving out to California, but police found no evidence that she traveled there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much speculation, and it doesn't even do it justice, because we don't know. The problem here too is that her dental records were lost. 13 so far, 13 Jane Does across multiple states have been ruled out as being her. Of course, without dental records, it is pretty tricky, especially going back to the 80s. But really, so far, Tammy's never been found. It's so sad.
It is. I mean, you think of Florida, you think of alligators, you think of marsh swamps, you think of beaches. There's so many places to dump a body, Susan. It's
so many. Yeah,
it's terrifying. Also, gosh, it makes me think of, Lauren DeMolo case.
Of course it does. And you hope it doesn't go on. You hope that case doesn't go on like this one has, unsolved for so long.
Yes. So many people want to know what happened to Tammy, and, was she reacting rationally to a real threat, or was she having a mental health crisis? Either way, her worst fears were realized, and that something terrible happened to her, and she's unaccounted for.
That's right. And today Tammy would be 59 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was so cut short. Whether she ran, was taken, was silenced. I mean, someone knows what happened. Hopefully someone who's still living knows what happened in Cocoa Beach that summer and wants to come forward. The case is, still open.
That's right. If anyone out there has information about Tammy Lynn Leppert, contact the Cocoa Beach Police Department or the Florida Highway Patrol.
And thanks for joining us on another episode of Justice Pending. We'll be back next week with an all-new case.
Justice Pending is recorded in Dallas, Texas for Rebel Studios. It's hosted by me, Claire Sanama, and Susan Passoni. Our theme music is Bending Truth, licensed at premiumbeat.com. We appreciate all listener feedback. Leave a review wherever you're listening right now, and we might read it on the air. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.